They say attitude is everything, and for those that have been referred to as having a positive attitude, have oftentimes earned it through adversity, facing great difficulty with even a greater outlook. A warrior attitude that believes everything is achievable, no matter what life throws your way. Our first story is about a boy named Xander Johnson who reminds us that having an optimistic attitude while facing a life-altering setback says everything about who you are. This is Side Reel.
What was my reaction when I found out my first wife, Stacy, was pregnant with Xander? It was overwhelming. It is, I guess, the best way to describe it. I was excited and scared, and but then once he was out, it was very cool, to be able to hold him and be in that moment was. It's one of the greatest things you'll ever experience. Xander's been confident since he was like 3. And just thinking about that, he has always been able to walk up to anyone and have a conversation since he was a little kid. And he's always spent a lot of his time around adults, even when he was younger. So he could, even when he was 4, 5, 6 years old, he had full-on conversations with adults to the point that the adults would look at him and go, "How old are you?" Yeah, if I noticed anything different, it was day one. We noticed that he was, a lot of young people don't know the term, but there's a term called towhead, which means super blonde hair, super light hair. My mother-in-law took him to see a geneticist, and that's when we learned that he had albinism.
My condition is called ocular albinism, and most cases of ocular albinism have 3 stages. And my eyesight, I have a degenerated macula, which essentially during the natal process, I think that's what it's called, natal process, birth essentially, my macula didn't generate properly. So I don't have depth perception, which means I can't tell how far away things are.
And there were certain things I knew that he wouldn't be able to do. We were told early on he'll never be able to drive because of his underdeveloped macula and the lack of center point vision. He has no depth perception. So we knew that going in, and that was kind of a bummer thing, but we'll deal with it.
The further away something is, the blurrier it is, and I can't exactly make it out very well. And the closer I move into something, it slowly comes more into focus until when I'm close up to it, I can read it well or see it well. And I also have what's called nystagmus, so my eyes go back and forth eternally. They never stop. I've tried. They never stop. Early childhood was pretty normal comparatively to other people, I guess. I mean, I was pretty sheltered, pretty overprotected, but that's because I guess I have a condition that requires protection, I guess. I didn't understand that, and it was kind of annoying. But I tried to do as much as I could, and if I was told that I couldn't do something, I just didn't do it and found something else I wanted to do instead. I really was an inside kid. I didn't like going outside. I couldn't really do outside stuff because that requires, eyesight. Yeah, I found stuff to do inside. I played video games, I read books, I watched TV, etc.
And there's also some other things, we would be upfront with him, and he would say, I want to grow up to be a fighter pilot. And we'd say, okay, well, that might be kind of difficult.
A lot of things I wanted to do, a lot of things I couldn't do. When I was in first grade, they had us make a model of what we wanted to do when we grew up. So they had us take a hanger and hang a bunch of pictures from like Google Images or something of what we wanted to do on the hanger. So I wanted to be an Air Force fighter pilot. All right, I wanted to like fly a plane. Yeah, that's what they do. And so I got the hanger and I got all that and I got it all together and I went and I showed it to my teacher and my teacher said, "That's kind of funny, you can't do that." And I was like, "Why?" She was like, "You have to see to fly a plane." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's unfortunate." Elementary school was great. It was honestly great. I had a normal elementary school experience. I went to school. I didn't take any special ed programs or any of that. And I was picked on a fair amount during elementary school. But I reassured myself considering that, there's no issue being different. That's what I was told, and that's what I agreed with. Moving to Marysville was very beneficial. I was very happy I was in a new place. I liked the weather more, and I was very eager to meet new people and get a new group of people that I liked being with. And then going to MMS was very different. It was very different from school in California. There were different types of people. People acted differently. I was exposed to a lot of new ideas, which was interesting. I learned a lot, but I enjoyed it. I found a cool group of people. So my PE teacher at the time, she was like, "You're the only kid I have that actually enjoys running the mile, so you should do track." So I really enjoyed middle school track. I felt like it was something I could be good at. I found that I really enjoyed doing distance running, and that was something I could be good at. So I focused on that, and I really enjoyed it. And when the season ended, I was persuaded / voluntold to do high school cross country.
It wasn't until we moved up here that he took an interest in cross country. And it wasn't even us encouraging him to. It was, "Hey, I heard about this and I think I want to try out." Okay.
My parents, they did have doubts. They were like, "If we still lived in California, we wouldn't let you do this. Now, since we're up here and the weather's a bit better, sure, we'll let you try it. You have to finish the season. You cannot quit." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." But they were very supportive. I succeeded in these sports. Specifically, cross country was really difficult because there's a lot of people and the terrain changes. It's up and then it's down and then you gotta turn, and there's always a bunch of people there in front of you, so you can't tell where you gotta turn. It's very dangerous and very difficult to see, I guess.
I think what surprised me about Xander when I first met him most, I met him in the summer before his freshman year. We do summer cross-country practices out there. When he first joined the team, I think what surprised me most was how confident and willing to interact with others he was. He is willing to go out there and do his best work every day. He's supportive of teammates, and he fits in great with the group overall. He's always one of the guys that's working hardest in practice, always willing to kind of go the extra mile, literally, out there when we're running. So he does a great job of just being an active member of the team in every facet. I mean, right away he just wanted to go out and just do the thing, you know. So he wanted to just go out and run. That's always been his kind of attitude. I know his mom was a little bit hesitant here and there at the beginning. So she would be like, "Oh, is this gonna be okay? Where are you guys gonna be running on like so and so a day and all that stuff?" But now that's pretty much completely gone at this point because he's just always willing to go out there and just give it his best shot regardless. So he never like said, "Hey, this is my deal," or anything like that. He's just been like, "Treat me like anybody else and I'll make it work." That's always been his attitude.
Swim is very difficult at first, because the sport itself is difficult, but also because swimming, you need to focus, or you need to learn where to flip when you're going to turn so you don't hit the wall, because that's very uncomfortable, at least, to hit the wall. And so my condition made that kind of difficult, trying to tell how far away it was because I don't have depth perception.
When he first came to the pool, he let me know, like, "Hey, I've got this thing with my vision, and I just want to make sure I'm not going to run into the wall." I was like, "Good, thank you for telling me. I don't want you to run into the wall either." So he told me about, his vision and depth perception and light, and I when he first started swimming, he's like, okay, I can see the line pretty well. And he does have to, get a little closer to the wall with the, knowing when to turn. But no, he figured it out right away.
And then it was also difficult to dive into the water through the blocks because that's just natural fear. If you can't tell how far away the water is, it's scary trying to jump into it. So that took a little bit of patience to overcome, but I don't think my condition really held me back in swimming.
During the whole first week of practice, we go through our team's core values. And so we usually have our captains or any returning seniors to say what they think about Unity and what it means to be part of the team and, all that stuff. And then we open it up to anyone who wants to share anything. And so this was the second day of practice, and it's his first time even swimming. And he stands up, he's like, this is the first time I've ever done a sport that wasn't running, and I'm excited. This is gonna be awesome. I've never done this before, and it's hard. And yeah! And I was like, all right, this guy sounds cool. Woo! So, no, I've never had any doubts for him. And after that, he was like, I don't have any doubts for myself. He pushes himself. He went after the 500, which is the longest event that we have. And he's like, I know I can do it. I can get there. Yeah. So it's been great to watch.
I wanted to try something else this year. I was really, really, really excited. I wanted to be in our feature film class. I wanted to be one of the actors. And I had been super excited about it all of freshman year. I was asking the video teacher, Mr. Chapin, over and over, yo, do you have any information about it? And so when auditions came around, I tried out for 2 smaller roles, and I didn't get either of those. I got a larger role instead as the lead villain.
As the director of the movie, I've gotten to know Xander pretty well. I think one of the biggest things that we all remember, and Chapin talks about this a lot too, is that when we were auditioning, I remember he came in and I was like, whoa, who is this kid? Because he has like bright white hair and he was just like super tall, and I was like, what is he doing? And so he comes in and we talk to him a little bit, and we get to the audition part, and we had written this like we'd taken part of the script out for them to audition with. And I remember like last minute we had to change some lines because it just wasn't working. And so for the future like auditions, we changed it up a little bit, and we just figured, like no one's gonna know it anyway. They'll just read it cold, and it'll be fine. And so we get to the audition part, and Xander's doing his lines, and he's like doing great, like obviously. But we get to this one part, and I remember we like cut the line, and it was to his next line. And so I was waiting, and I was like, it's your line. And he looks at me, he goes, no, it's not.
In the audition, I was really nervous, and so I had made sure that I was well prepared. I had memorized both of the scripts I was doing to a T, and I knew my inflections, I knew all of that. And so the director, she was reading the script, and there was like a break in a line where they had changed it earlier that period, and I was like, that's not the right line, guys.
He's like, it should be one of yours. And I was like, no. And then he took me a second, and then I was like, holy crap. I was like, he's right. Like, we just changed it. And so that just kind of like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, wow, like he was really prepared. And it just like kind of set the tone for like how he kind of acted the rest of the year. He was just always super prepared and always ready to go. He
made it to districts this year because he had the determination to work hard and to improve and to always ask, like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I want to get faster. I want to get better. I want to get stronger. I want to do better on my turn. I want to do better on my start. What should I do with my stroke?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the way I see it, I think Xander just embraces every challenge. He's not going to let anything hold him back. And then that extends also into like all facets of his life. So he's not letting his vision hold him back. So he doesn't let anything hold him back. He's always going to argue for what he thinks is right. He's going to go and give his best shot.
I can definitely say that he doesn't let his vision ever hold him back. He goes for it. And you asked me a question earlier about what is my proudest moment. And that right there is it. He doesn't get held back by his limitations. He doesn't get held back by his disability. The kid goes out there, he goes for it. He goes for it hard.
What drives someone to go beyond their limits? How does someone legally blind see life so clearly? And how does someone who should fall behind continue to lead the way?
If I were to give advice to somebody with my condition who's younger than me, I would tell them to focus on find what they can do and focus on that and get as good as that as they can, because focusing on what you can't do instead of what you can do won't get you anywhere.